How's it going, YouTube? Mark Braddock here with Kayak Adventures 2.0, here today with another kayak fishing tip. Check it out. Today's fishing tip is all about safety. I had a lot of comments and requests about making a safety video, so here it is. You know, safety should be our #1 priority. Whether you're fishing flats or offshore, being prepared is going to determine whether or not you're going to make it to that next day. There's been way too many accidents in the past simply because of not having prepared safety. So today we're going to be going over a couple items that I keep on my kayak. Really small items, so they're not actually in your way. However, they will benefit you when you need them. First thing first, and by law down here in Texas, is your PFD. Now this is actually the one where you just pull it and it blows up. A little expensive, but quite worth it when your life is on the line. This is made by Onyx. You can get them at Academy for about 60, 80 bucks, depending on the brand. Awesome product. In the kayak, you don't have to wear one, but it is a really good idea just to constantly have it on. With these small inflatable PFDs, you know, you really don't even know you have it on. A lot of the tournaments nowadays are actually making it regulations that you have to wear a PFD, not only in the kayak, but also when you're wading outside of the kayak. So it's great that these tournaments are getting the idea about safety first, and your PFD is your #1 choice when it comes to safety. Now the second thing that I really like that I have is my throw flotation device. Now this isn't required on kayaks. It's only required on boats 16 feet and over. That's of course down here in Texas. Basically what this does is allows you to grab it real quick and throw it out into the water. If someone's drowning, they can grab onto that and they won't drown. But I like to have it simply because if I were to flip or my kayak does sink, this is the first thing that's going to be floating up to the top. And so what I do is I actually keep this under my seat, or I keep it behind my seat where it's out of my way if I were to stand right where the kayak is. So if it goes under or if I flip, this is going to float. Now the really cool thing about this item and why I like it a lot is I actually attach my waterproof case to it. So in here is, you know, my cell phone, my wallet, my fishing license, pretty much everything that I would need to make it back to the coast, call for help. If this gets lost out offshore and search and rescue finds this only, they can go ahead and look at my ID and know it was me and hopefully continue the search. Now with that being said, my third pick, it was kind of tricky. I had 3 things to choose from, but I went real simple, and that's a waterproof case with, of course, a first aid kit inside of it. Got a couple Band-Aids, nothing really to it, some cleaning towels, lip ointment. I think there's some sunscreen on here as well. Just something that I've always not regretted when I needed it. Whether you get stuck by a fish, cut by a knife, a hook in the hand, that small medi kit is gonna be quite worth it when you have it. Trust me. And fourth, I kind of got stuck on this one as well. I didn't want to go too overboard with a lot of safety equipment on my boat. Just the essentials, what I know I would need. And one of them, of course, is the SOS distress flag. You know, if you got a really windy day, you're not in the right position, you can scream and scream and scream and nobody's gonna hear you. But that first thing they will see is this flag. If you're sinking, if you got a problem, maybe a fellow angler is capsized and you can't help them, but you see a boat coming your way, throw up this distress flag and trust me, they'll get the message. And of course, last but definitely not least would be handheld flares. This pack is pretty cool. You know, I haven't been able to use one yet. I've seen them on TV and whatnot, and they're pretty legit. I don't do a lot of night fishing, but when I do, it's mostly by lidded up piers, mostly for trout and whatnot. But it's really cool, and you can use it during the day. Not as effective, but it does work. So it's a pretty cool product to have. I highly recommend getting a couple of these. And a good idea is to keep them in a water seal pack. They're not waterproof, I believe so. I did have one that got wet and it just got really hot on me. I threw it away. Didn't know what quite happened with it, but highly recommend it. That was your kayak fishing tip for the day. I'm Mark Braddock, and we'll see you next time on Kayak Adventures 210.